Can you imagine the number of lives affected by the first global conflict, World War I, that spanned from 1914 to 1918? Picture this, a war that involved more than 70 million military personnel, making it one of the largest wars in history. Of these, over 60 million were Europeans. It's a staggering number, isn't it? Let's move on to 1914, when the war began. Within the first month, more than 1 million soldiers had been mobilized. As the year progressed, that number rose to 10 million. The scale of the conflict was unprecedented. By the end of 1915, the total number of military and civilian casualties was more than 5 million. This includes both the dead and the wounded. This figure would only continue to rise as the war raged on. Fast forward to 1917, the year when the United States entered the war. By then, the total number of casualties had already reached over 20 million. Come 1918, the final year of the war, the total number of military and civilian casualties had reached an estimated 40 million. This included approximately 10 million military personnel deaths and around 7 million civilian deaths. In the aftermath of the war, an estimated 1.5 million people were left widowed and 6 million children were left orphaned. So, to sum up, World War I involved over 70 million military personnel, with more than 60 million of these being Europeans. The war began with a mobilization of over 1 million soldiers in its first month, and this number increased to 10 million by the end of 1914. By the end of the war in 1918, the total number of military and civilian casualties reached around 40 million, including 10 million military deaths and 7 million civilian deaths. The aftermath of the war left 1.5 million people widowed and 6 million children orphaned. It's hard to comprehend these numbers, isn't it? The sheer scale of World War I and its devastating impact is something that continues to resonate in our collective memory. Understanding the numerical facts helps us to appreciate the gravity of this global conflict and reminds us of the immense human cost of war.